Okay, take number 4. Trigger warning. I have a little bit more energy. I'm a little bit more funny, maybe. Um, as with any of my videos, risk of triggering. Risk I'll get triggered. Um, I don't have a lot of energy. And if I don't do this today, I'm not going to. And I need to keep posting, hoping that someone will see me, that someone will notice, that someone will pass these along. I need to raise awareness that people will find us. We need help. We need political asylum. We need protection. Now the theory is that if, and it's a big if we can propose a plan that my ex-husband cannot say no to, that the courts will agree with, remembering that my ex-husband is the abuser, that he's the one that causes endangerment, that the courts are being abusive, that the courts are causing endangerment, that the other organizations like LUDAF and the assistance sociale, social workers, social services, are all causing abuse. The schools were causing abuse. Not so much in the most recent high school, because he was only there for 7 days and then tons of emails that wouldn't stop. But yeah, it's technically he should be in year 2 of high school, and he's only did 7 days of year 1 because he couldn't hack it, because of his emotional system was too dysregulated. Too much risk that he would hurt somebody, hurt himself, or go after his father, who worked just down the street. So yeah. And with the abuse that we've been getting from everyone who's in a position of power, who's supposed to be protecting us, but they're making it worse, it's not safe for him to leave the house very much. And going to school is not an option. It's just not. But they want to make sure that he's seeing a therapist, that he is going to school, and that he's socializing. And it's not safe for him at the Scouts. They've already proved that. And then they dropped the ball on reporting what happened when he was with them. Courts. Oh, we never heard anything from the Scouts. Yeah, we never heard that. Yeah, I wonder why. Stink bug, you can bug off. I love you, but no. I'm not having a stink bug on my forehead, thank you. So our abusers are wanting options. They want a plan. Problem is, how do I make a plan? Now, I've got a solid plan in place. If we go to Ireland, if we are allowed, legally allowed to leave, I've got a place for us to stay. I've got people there to help teach us how the system works. I've got internet access so that I can start working right away on the internet. I've got all kinds of volunteer stuff. There's all kinds of activities that both me and my son can be involved in that will help us to reintegrate back into society and get the healing that we need on a social level, as well as learning what it's like to be in an Anglophone environment, because my son doesn't really honestly know that. He only spent a year in the States after he was born. So our heritage is being denied. We're U.S. citizens. And it's just completely being blocked. It doesn't exist. He's French. Only French. How dare you want to remove his heritage? We had to petition and pay to get him recognized as a French citizen. So he was, kind of American first, born there. But yeah, the abusers want to stop us. So in Ireland, we have access to all kinds of help. We've got access to doctors. We've got access to therapists. We've got access to universal care coverage. Whether or not it's immediate and I have the money to be able to pay for it, if I can access my money, here I'm not allowed to access my money. They limit it. And it wouldn't be so bad if they actually worked with me, but they do everything in their power to keep me humiliated, to keep me humble, to keep me small, to be degraded, to cause entrapment and fraud and all kinds of other things. So Ireland has all kinds of options for us. The problem is, those options aren't good enough. They're not solid enough. Well, you haven't set up anything with the school. How can I set up anything with a school if I can't guarantee that I can be there? They have to guarantee that we're allowed to leave, in which case I can set up a school thing. Well, you don't have anything set in place, for the doctors. There's nothing guaranteed. How can I if you won't guarantee? Catch-22. Stuck in a loop. And if we're forced to go back to the States, if Ireland won't accept us, then what? Because we're not safe in the States. Not with how everything is behaving in the States. I can't stay with my mom. She doesn't have enough space. Not for all of us. And I can't stay with any extended family, like cousins or aunts or uncles or whatever, or cousins. They don't have enough space, and the ones that might have enough space aren't stable. Now, they're good people, but they're not the people we need. They wouldn't know how to keep from triggering my son. They wouldn't know how to de-escalate a situation. I don't really have any friends back there. And any friends I do have are, they'd make it worse. And they don't necessarily have the space either. So I would have to go immediately on to government assistance, and that would mean not guaranteeing that we would get any of the medical help we need or any of the legal help we need. That would not guarantee that he would get any of the services that he needs, like ESOL, because even though English is technically his native language, it's not. So he'd have to get into that to be able to, level up and catch up. He'd need to have tutors and stuff, which would mean I'd have to have a job right away. And it wouldn't necessarily guarantee that I could do anything online. And the problem with that is that I have to be around him 24/7 if he's in that kind of environment. Because you know what the States are like, especially if we went back to the DC metro area. It's too violent. It's too intense. I mean, he wouldn't be able to survive a day in Poitiers, and that's remarkably smaller than Paris. And of course, I'm back in the sunlight again. Aren't I pretty? There we go. So there's no way he could survive Paris, and Paris is a fraction of the size of the DC metro area. Everything would trigger him. He's not streetwise. I'd be fine. I could get through if it was just me, but it's not just me. So I'd have to have a guaranteed job. I'd have to have guaranteed medical assistance that covers all of our medical needs, because I have a lot of medical needs. It would have to cover all of our dental needs. It would have to cover all of our psychiatric needs and glasses. And we can't guarantee that there in the States. We would need specific guarantees to be able to survive there. It would be more dangerous, or just as dangerous, but in our language. Or at least my language. And I can't do anything if I've got to be his care support 24/7. And there's too much risk that someone would try and take him away. There's too much risk that someone would put him somewhere where he's not going to be safe and he's going to end up hurting people. Or himself. So the only way that going back to the States would be an option is if someone said, hey, I got you, I'll sponsor you. Or if we had some sort of witness protection. Because, in a sense, that's what we need. Because I need to whistleblow on the various government agencies. I need to whistleblow on the various organizations. And the hospitals. How it potentially ties together with, on a personal level, my ex and his professional side. Because there's a lot of things that tie together using his status at the hospital, his connections. And the question of, did he try on multiple times for me for each of my 3 boys to cause involuntary manslaughter through homicide. No, through negligence. Yes, through negligence. You know, there are too many things. This is something big. It's not something small. And the behavior that we're dealing with here, if we leave, we're a threat because we'll whistleblow and because there is enough proof. If we stay, we die, nobody cares. So I need options. And I'm willing to take just about any option that is for our highest good, that gets us out of France legally, that gives us the health coverage we need for all of our needs, that gives us especially the therapy that my son needs. Yeah, I'd like therapy too. If I don't get it, I don't get it. But he's my priority. I need to find homes for the animals. Dog has to come with us. I don't know how long he'll live. He's a mixed breed. Part Malinois, part Bichon. He's 5 years old at least now. So, is he going to live till 12? Is he already past his lifespan? I don't know. But the cats need homes, both on a humanitarian level as well as to not cause me more trauma, because there's a lot of trauma associated with how many cats there have been and how many have died and how they have died. There's a lot of wounding that needs to be healed. And unless we have a sponsor of some sort, some measure of protection, real help in the States, it's not an option. And if we can't get to Ireland, or Ireland wouldn't accept us, what do we do? And it doesn't really seem to matter who I call or who I send emails to. I get ignored or I get rejected. Usually ignored, which is a form of rejection. And I know, rejection is divine protection, cool. But it still messes with you. And it's not like I'm avoiding taking accountability. It's not like I'm avoiding taking responsibility. There's only so much I can be responsible for. Everything else is on other people. And they need to step up, and they won't. So what do I do? There's a lot of psychological game playing, manipulation, gaslighting, narcissism. And that's just with the administration side of things. It's not just with individual people outside of business on personal levels. And they keep stripping me down of my self-worth, of my ability to function, keep denying me access to things that we need. My curator proved herself again that she's been with me now for a year and 9.5 months. Rarely reads her emails, and emails are the only way I can properly communicate. And she was shocked to find out, you don't have a washing machine? The bitch literally did a tour on one of the first 3 appointments we had over a year ago to do an inventory of what I have in the house and wrote down, yes, you have a washing machine, but it's broken. But you don't have a washing machine? Other proof like that as well. And there's more sunlight. Can we do this? No, come on. Behave yourself. There we go. And now there's a train. Small one. And a car. I'm frustrated. I'm tired. I've got executive dysfunctional disorder, both types. Because, there's not just the normal one, there's also the brain damage one. I've got all kinds of undiagnosed learning disabilities that I'm constantly having to discover on my own because I can't go to the hospital. I've got so much trauma, and it's coming from all angles. So it's not like I can just, function like a normal person. It's it's almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm just now kind of getting lucid and awake. And that's partly because I've only had maybe 10 hours of sleep over the last 3 days. But it also doesn't really matter if I get 15 hours of sleep a day. If my brain can't wake up, if my body can't wake up, it just can't, even if I'm physically up. There are times when it takes me 5 to 7 hours of being physically awake before my brain kicks in and I have energy and I can do something, because I'm running on fumes. I have been living in pure hell. Pretty. It's so pretty. But it's still a prison, and it's still hell. And it's still wreaking havoc on my immune system, on my nervous system, on my emotional system, on my social system, on my ability to regulate everything. And everything's on my shoulders, and I've got to do all of it. And I don't know how, because it's too big. It's too much. And I need people's help. Which is why I post these videos, because maybe one of you people will actually ask questions and get me on a focused thing where I can answer them. Because if I'm focused, I'm pretty good at answering things. I can get the words out and I explain things, but this is like everything. It's like trying to explain this entire situation, everything that you see behind me, all that you see in me right now as you're looking at the screen. It's like I have to explain all of that detail. I can't do it. It's too much. I need it focused. And to focus, I need engagement. And I don't get engagement except with trolls who want to give me a hard time because, oh, you're so lucky though. It's not a prison. It's really not. And it's like, yeah, it is. And just because I got nature and it's pretty doesn't mean it's not a prison. It doesn't mean it's not killing me. Literally. Doesn't mean it's not blocking me from all the potential that I can be, and all the work that I could be doing, and all the things that I could be doing just to have fun. There's no fun here. I'm on burnout squared. I'm running on fumes. I'm doing everything. I'm on call 24/7 if something happens. So you have to reserve your energy. You have to store it up. Am I going to need it today? Am I going to have enough to be able to get proper sleep so that I can be awake at 9 a.m. to start making phone calls to people who are only there from 9 a.m. to noon? Sometimes they'll be there from 14 to 16, 17 maybe. Maybe. It's 10 times more complicated for everything than anything that you deal with in the States. And then on top of that, it's another 20 to 30 times more complicated just for me. There's all kinds of ableism or albiism or however you pronounce that word. People who are handicapped don't have very many rights here. They may have it on paper. Doesn't mean people actually use it. Doesn't mean people actually do anything about it. They don't respect it. And it's just, I need engagement. I need people who engage with me, who take me seriously and want to know and can ask me the right questions. And, one of my oldest son's uncle sent me a list of questions, and I wanted to just throw my phone at the wall. Because half of them don't apply to the situation now. Would have last year, the year before, the time that I went 85 days without electricity, doesn't send me an idea of where these questions came from. The rest of the questions, I'm reading through them and I'm like, I just can't. I'm going to get triggered for nothing. It's not going to serve a purpose. It's not going to focus on what the problem is. And anytime I do actually ask for help and I say, look, this is what I need, people either go off in la la land over there, or they think that they need to save me and take over the entire situation and go do things for themselves on my behalf, which get me in trouble. And it's like, I need people to work with me. I need a team. And I need things done my way because I'm living this situation. I know all the information. I just need someone to help organize it and get it out. And we need help. And I feel horrible of the fact that I'm complaining about the help that I do get, because, yeah, it would be great for somebody else, not our situation. And everybody puts blinders on and assumptions as to what they think our situation is. And it's so big. And if I try explaining it, they go, whoa, you can't dump on people like that. You can't. That's too much information. They'll think you're crazy. And it's like, yeah, I'm dealing with crazy. And I watched a video on what is a cult. What is it? Mark Vincetti? Vincetti? Or I don't know. Vincetti, probably. The dude who did the HBO special, The Vow. I got no idea who he is. I mean, that's the first time I'd heard of him. Saw a random interview somewhere else and followed over, and I'm like, okay, this dude's kind of gets it. All right, let's see what else he's got on his channel. And he talks about what is a cult. And because it had to do with the Nexium thing. I got no idea what's going on because, I mean, like, last 15, 20 years, I've been kept out of circulation. Granted, 20 years ago, I was in the States, but I was working 24/7 almost. So it's not like I knew what was going on then. And so he's talking about what is a cult, and yeah, you can apply it to the religious side of things. You can apply it to schools. You can apply it to family behavior patterns, and you can also apply a lot of it to how the government structures itself. And there's so much coercive control. There's so much gaslighting, entrapment. It's just all kinds of psychological abuse. And I mean, I saw my curator last week, and she's being all polite and she's being all friendly, saying something along the lines of, it's not my job to make you, to hurt you. And I was like, that's cool. Can you say you're sorry? Can you acknowledge the damage you are doing or have done? No? Okay. So don't hand me, a turd wrapped in gold. It's still a turd. What am I going to do with it? And it's not like I'm trying to get revenge, and it's not like I'm trying to hold people to, some kind of weird standard where, come worship me and tell me how much you're sorry for what you've done. It's not that. Give me the friggin' validation. I'm not crazy, but everyone tries to make me crazy. Take away the value of what I have to say. And because I can't focus, because it's just too much, it's too big, it's everything and everywhere, and I've got real brain damage. Nobody takes me seriously. So how do I get taken seriously? How do I get people like Mark Vincetti or Mark? How do I get people like him to take me seriously and teach me how to blow the whistle? How do I get people to take me seriously like Johnny Depp's lawyer, Camila Vasquez? How do I get her to read my emails and say, oh, wow, maybe I should help? Because they do pro bono work. And I have no problem splitting, whatever winnings I get. So it's not just pro bono. There's another step above it. How do I get the embassies to listen to me and take me seriously? How do I get government agencies to take me seriously? How do I get local agencies that protect women and children to take me seriously? How do I get Amnesty International and the UN and the EU courts and to take me seriously? It's too much trauma. It's too big. And I need someone who is capable of asking the right questions, who has the right skill set to understand what's going on and how to organize it so that I can get the information out. I need a proper interview. I need a proper psychological analysis or whatever it's called. Don't know. But I need options. And I don't have them here. I'm tired and now I'm overheating. I'm tired. And I want to go take a nap and I can't because I'm not that tired. Yes, I love you, puppy. Here, have a treat. I'm frustrated. I want to go home, wherever home is. I want to go where people actually appreciate me and see my worth and see me as a person instead of trying to force me into a mold of what they think I'm supposed to be. Because here, if you don't follow a very set, specific rule book, you don't exist. And they'll try and erase you. France colonizes. They may have stopped colonizing other countries, but they do it within their own border. They try to say racism doesn't exist here, that they don't, practice that. They do. And there's a lot of xenophobia against anyone who is Anglophone. Specifically the English, but not limited to. And there's so much classism, so much albiism. It's just, there's so many big words like those that I just can't even. There's just so many of them. And I can't organize my thoughts. And all I keep doing is getting trapped in a loop. Some kind of psychotic DJ. I need help. Where do I find help? So I post these videos, hoping you guys will see something and go, hey, I know a guy. Hey, I know a person. Hey, I know a lady. Hey, I know an organization. Hey, we can make you go viral. Let's do it. Let's start a writing campaign. Let's find someone who can do a proper interview. And I get comments from 7. It's not a real prison. But look, I wrote nicely. Gold foil turd is still a turd. And I'm supposed to be expected to swallow it because they don't want to take accountability for the toxicity that they instill, let alone the toxicity I'm trying to blow the whistle on. So what do I do? What are you going to do? But we need out of France. The nights are getting cold. And it's going to be wet soon. It doesn't snow here. And it's going to be hard to heat the house. And if there's too much endangerment on my part because they won't do their job, they still might take him away. If they take him away, he's going to die. Or kill. Or both. And even if he stays, I can't guarantee that I can keep him calm over the next couple of months to survive the winter. So what do? I can't guarantee that I can keep him alive until his 17th birthday at the end of August or April. My brain hurts. I'm tired. I'm really tired. And I keep having to keep going. One foot in front of the other. Every day. And it takes a lot of energy just to make sure I don't have a meltdown. That I don't have a panic attack. That I don't fall into the trap of all of what Dr. Doyle calls the inner prosecutor. That nagging a voice that tries to attack you and say you're crap. you're nothing, you're this, that, and the other. I have to spend so much of my energy just existing. I'm exhausted. And then I'm supposed to do everything else on top of it. And I have to control myself so that I can make sure that I don't inadvertently trigger my son. I'm exhausted and I need help. So what are you going to do? Who's going to help? Bare minimum, who's going to help me focus? And we're being forced to stay until he's 18. By that point, the damage will be too great. I can't guarantee that I'll ever be able to work at that point if it's that prolonged and if the abuse continues at the rate that it's been escalating. He's already said by the age of 17 that he's going to go off and get his father. Then I'm tired of being the humanitarian and trying to keep his dad alive. Because toxic dad, toxic stepfather as well to my other two. So yeah. I'm tired. I just want it to be over. But even if we are somehow able to survive till he's 18, then what? Then what? Too much damage. I can't let that happen. I don't know. So I need options. I need help. Come give me options. Come talk with me. Anybody, somebody, but really engage. Try and figure out what's going on. Try and understand. Try and understand. Drop your assumptions. Drop your expectations. Just and it's hard doing this on my own. I just want to go home. I can't think of anything to talk about. Then I don't want to cry. I don't want to have a panic attack. My brain already hurts. So yeah. Thanks for listening.